Hey guys, how's it going? Um, so, I guess this is my mid-May update for those who care. Um, you remember the calendar from last time, the very, very busy calendar. Um, so, 4 of the events down, 4 to go. We're doing good. So, going back, so what would that be? The 1, 2, 3, the 5th? Of course, I crossed out the numbers so I can't see them. First Saturday of the month. We'll just go with that. Well, I was at Nomad World Pub, and it was Half Moon Devil and Fistful of Datas and Rebel Queens, all of who were awesome. Half Moon Devil, you've heard me talk about before. I really like those guys. They're awesome. And they did not disappoint. Fistful of Datas, first time seeing them. They're a 90s, I suppose 90s tribute act. And they kind of impressed me. Just in the fact that they did the 90s, but they didn't do any grunge or hard rock or new metal or anything like that. They stayed more on the pop side, but went into some weird places. They did 2 They Might Be Giant songs. They did 2 Radiohead songs, one of which was Creep, done in the style of like a 50s ballad, which I thought was really cool. And what else did they do? They did like a couple of Spice Girl songs, Britney Spears. I mean, it kind of ran the gamut, and it was impressive. It impressed me. I don't know. And then Rebel Queens came out, and they just came out like a locomotive and just tore up the place. So kudos to them. As always, I mean, they're good. I've seen them before, and they're really good, and they're good people too. And then the following day, on Sunday, was the at the Poorhouse was the Mayday matinee show. I went there because I know Fix the Glitch, and saw them. Somebody recorded their set. I already shared it on Facebook, and today, coming home on the bus, I saw somebody has an alternate camera view, and I shared that as well, because I really dig those guys too. They're really good. So yeah, and they put on an awesome set. And the one other band that I saw, because I got there a little later than I wanted to. Got there probably right around 1 o'clock. It started at noon. 1:30, somewhere in there. And the first band, so there was a band finishing up. I saw about half of their last song, and I don't remember what their name was, but I know the singer from Fix the Glitch was a fan, and they'd done some shows, and I don't remember the name. But anyway, that doesn't matter. And then next band up, I never caught their name. They never said it on stage. And they were just like a punk band, like an old school punk band. Fix the Glitch came on, did their thing. Band after them, again, didn't catch the name. Another kind of punky kind of band. And then the last band up, and so as the band after Fix the Glitch was on, I saw a band come in of very, very young people. I mean, if they were over 18, I'd be very surprised. And they came in carrying a keyboard, amongst their guitars and stuff, carrying a keyboard and a glockenspiel. So I was like, okay, interest peaked. I have to stick around for these guys. Luckily, they played next. So I wasn't there all day because I was pretty exhausted from the night before. And they are called Kids Ski Free, and they were good. They impressed me. all but one of the members, and there was about, I think, 6 total on stage. All but one played more than one instrument. I mean, the drummer was going between guitar and drums and glockenspiel. The main singer was playing bass for most of it. He played a little bit of keyboard. I think he played guitar in one song, and like they were all kind of jumping around doing different things. So I mean, that's always fun to see. And yeah, they were really good. So if you get a chance, I don't know if they play out. I mean, as I said, they looked very, very young. So I don't know if they're actually out and about. But if you happen to catch them, I would say do it. I would say go see them because I thought I was impressed by them. Day of rest on Monday, besides work. And then Tuesday was, of course, the Caboose, Mastiff, and Outside the Murder, and little bands called Nile and Soulfly. So this is my first time seeing all these bands, with the exception of Mastiff, who I've seen a couple times now. And there was supposed to be another band, a prefabricated lie, but I'm not sure if they played and we missed them, because doors were at 6. We got there right around 6:30, and I heard music coming from inside, and I'm not sure if prefabricated lie just played a really, really early, really, really short set, or if they didn't play at all. I'm not sure. First band we saw was Mastiff, and of course they came out and did their thing because that's what they do. I mean, they're the mighty Mastiff. And second band up was Outside the Murder, which of course is Greg Chilton's band from Ritual Madness podcast and the nights at Lee's and stuff. First time seeing that band, and they kind of blew me away a little bit. I mean, he out of all the people on stage that night, he was definitely the most entertaining. And knowing Greg the little bit that I do, it doesn't really surprise me. But when you see someone, when you know someone in a certain context, like I was telling my friend Angie, it was odd to see him at a show not selling raffle tickets, because every other show I've seen him at is the ones at Leeds, and he's selling raffle tickets. But to see him on stage performing, it didn't really surprise me that he would be that animated and that kind of goofy within the metal context. But it did a little bit. But yeah, they were definitely the most entertaining of the 4 bands we saw, and definitely check them out. I don't know if they have anything else coming up, but definitely keep an eye on them. You know, like them on Facebook and all that fun stuff. Along with all the bands. I mean, just like everybody, just like them all. And then Nile came on, and I was not familiar with Nile at all. I know the name. I know they've been around for a long time. They've been around for like 20 years. Maybe longer. 25 years. Who knows? I knew they were a technical death metal band. That's all I knew about them. Okay, to all you Nile fans, I apologize, but really the only thing I enjoyed about their performance, about their set, was some of their in-between song banter. I thought that was pretty good. The rest of it, to me at least, was just very loud and very kind of mind-scrambling. Again, I don't listen to a lot of tech death. I mean, a lot of death metal in general. I mean, I'm old school when it comes to death metal. Death, Cannibal Corpse, a little bit Cannibal Corpse, Obituary, that kind of stuff. So all the newer, or not newer, but more less popular underground kind of death metal bands I'm not really familiar with. I mean, all the local ones around here I am, obviously, but so that being said, it didn't. I mean, the actual performance impressed me. I mean, the drummer was he knew what he was doing, but the overall sound was not something that I really enjoyed. Yeah, I guess that's it about them. I mean, I'm not going to run out and get any of their stuff probably or see them again, but it is probably good to experience that. And again, for all you Nile fans, I apologize, just not my thing, you know. And then Soulfly came out, and I knew of Soulfly. I don't know if I've ever heard anything by them. I mean, obviously, I was a fan of Sepultura, so I knew Max Cavalera. He went off and did Soulfly along with a bunch of other bands, Nailbomb, and when Igor, his brother, eventually left Sepultura, they formed Cavalera Conspiracy. But so anyway, so I'd never really gotten into them, never really heard them. They came out and they were good. They in my opinion, they were better than Nile. You know, it was all very groove orientated, very like this. You know what I'm talking about? It's very, yeah. But their drummer, who was introduced later in the set as Max's son, he was fucking good. He kind of blew me away. I just stared at him all night during their entire set because he was going, and yeah. I mean, watching him was probably the highlight of the night. No offense, Greg. Between Greg's performance and the drummer for Soulfly, that was probably the highlights of the night. Oops. So yeah, so that was cool. And then Dave rested on Wednesday, worked Thursday, Friday, and then this past Saturday, the 12th, was Club Underground. So it was Hot Rod Rodeo's CD release show and an acoustic performance by Outlaw Saint, at least two members of Outlaw Saint, Tank and pardon me, and bassist Steve, who played guitar for that show, and then a band called Last Snow. So got there a little bit late. Outlaw Saint was already on stage, but I think I saw most of their set, and it was just different to hear them, just an acoustic guitar and Tank's voice. It was good. I mean, not that Outlaw Saint isn't good in their full form, but it was different and it was interesting. And I kind of dug it. You know, it was what it was, put it that way. But it was good. And then Hot Rod Rodeo, and they, as they said many times throughout the night, they had gremlins like nobody's business. Got on stage, and even during the kind of sound checky setup that they were doing, the drummer's monitor wasn't working. The bass player was having difficulty with his rig. Both of those things, I think they eventually got working, or at least enough to get through the show. But Jimmy, the guitar player, apparently like half his pedal board wasn't working, and you know, whatever, he couldn't get it working. So he had the same guitar tone, which was not a pretty guitar tone. It was kind of high and but that's the tone he had all night because, you know, half of his board was out. So, but regardless of that, regardless of all their technical difficulties that night. They are, and I will say this forever, because Hot Rod Rodeo is one of, if not the most consistent bands I've ever seen. I've never seen a bad set by them musically. Obviously, this one is a little bit different. They were played by many technical issues, but musically and performance-wise, I've never seen a bad set by those guys. And again, if you had not seen Red Rodeo, go out and try to catch them, because they put on a hell of a show, and it's good, solid rock and roll. I think you'll like it. And yeah, that's what I got. As far as the crowds at these shows, that was a little interesting. Crowd at the Nomad was probably, age early 30s to mid 50s probably, with a bunch of people, a gaggle, shall we say, a gaggle of women coming in all of their 90s they were dressed in the 90s. And yeah, so, and then a couple of hipster locals probably. Poorhouse, that was interesting because it was the bands and what looked to be the parents and older relatives of the band, and then the younger fans of the band. Like when this last band that I watched, Kids Ski Free, when they started, was it for them or was it for the band before? I don't remember, but there was a group of about 5, 6, 7 teenage girls who had a table right up front of the stage and were just there and just watching. And I think that was for Kids Ski Free. I'm pretty sure. So it was that kind of a crowd. I mean, it was a Sunday afternoon show. So obviously you're not gonna, have, it's not, like a metal show or something. Although in the, 4 bands that I saw, it wasn't nearly as poppy as I thought it'd be. Unless I just happened to catch all the really rocking bands. But, so that was an odd crowd. At the Caboose, I mean, that was your typical metal crowd. I saw a bunch of familiar faces, people, again, that I've seen at shows and probably are friends with on Facebook, but I've never actually met, which I have to be better about. I think at future shows, I have to, if I see someone that I recognize from Facebook, I'll just go up and say, hey, we're friends on Facebook, and I've never met you, and yeah. And then the Club Underground show was, well, put it to you this way. Hot Rod Rodeo was offering a free CD for the first 20 paid admittance to that show. And by the time they got on stage, they were still giving away free CDs because 20 people hadn't come. That being said, it was still a good crowd. Club Underground is another interesting joint. I like it. It's a nice room. The bartender that works, because it's Spring Street Tavern, and then Club Underground is in the basement, literally. And the bartender that works down there is really cool. He's been working there for years. And the sound people are good people and whatnot. But where's I going with this? I don't know. Point being that I think most of the people there were friends of Hot Rod Rodeo, which for a CD release, I suppose that's the way you want to do it, but not very well attended is what I'm saying. But Saturday night, so probably lots of shows going on anyway, and last weekend was that weekend, which we just had 2 days ago. Was also Northern Invasion over in Somerset, so I'm sure a lot of the rock crowd was over there. camping out and doing whatever it is they do. So yeah, so that's what I had. Now what I have on tap is, so Tuesday, tomorrow night, the 15th, Lee's Liquor Lounge, the Raven Black, Cale Sagan, Abaleth, Kama Sutra, Infamous Memory shows. Got my ticket right there. Okay. So that should be a fun show. Then Friday, the 18th, out at Mayslax, Northeast, you have New Defective, Inner Toil, and Fatal Caliber. So that should be a fun show. I think that's probably like $5 to get in or something. So if you're not doing anything, I don't know. And then 19th, yay, show day, finally. My band, Off Duty Astronauts, will be back at Nison's. I think it's Nison's. Someone could comment how to actually pronounce the name of the bar in Savage. I've heard it pronounced both ways. I'll just go with Nison's. We'll be at Nison's in Savage all night. I think we start at 9:30, and we'll be playing all night. So come on out. It'll be awesome. And then the only other thing I have on the calendar is to do another show at Nison's next Friday, the 25th, and that's with our old buddies Fog Pilot. And interesting thing about that is that this is actually a makeup date. Nison's offered us a date in March, April, somewhere in there. I don't remember exactly when. That we couldn't do for some reason. I think somebody was out of town or something. So they were looking for other bands, and I threw Fog Pilot at them, and finally got a hold of Tom over at Nison's and got everything worked out, but then that date fell through, so then they rescheduled to the 25th. So going A, to hang out with them because they're cool guys, B, to support, and C, because we got them the gig. So, and again, it's all a matter of a little bit of the scratch your back, I'll scratch yours, you scratch mine, however that phrase goes. Thinking that, okay, we got them into Nison's. Because I hadn't played, as far as I can tell, I hadn't really played the cities all that much and around here. Most of the gigs have been in western Wisconsin and you know, up in like North Branch and places like that. So we got them into Nison's, which is awesome. And then hopefully I'll talk to him next Friday and say, hey, you know, maybe you could get us into, you know, Jumpin' Jacks or into Shoogies or into, you know, some places that you play. And then maybe down the line, we can maybe help them get like into Main Street or into wherever. So, you know, it's all about networking. It's all about who you know and all that fun stuff. But all of you that are musicians, you all know that. You all know that. Of course, that's what it's about. I mean, it's all about who you know and what your relationship with them is, and you know, all that stuff. So, anyway, that being said, that's about all I got, people. That is about all I got. So, I'll probably do another one of these at least at the end of the month to do kind of the last half of May recap and look into June and see what's going on. And I might start doing some album reviews. I don't know. The only problem with album reviews is that if I only review certain albums, then other people might feel slighted, and I don't want that to happen. But you know, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, so that's all I got. Hope you guys had a good weekend. Hope you have a good week. It's supposed to get hot this week. is one of those weeks only in Minnesota. Wednesday it's about to be about 86 degrees, and by Saturday when we do our show it's going to be like 64 in rating. So that'll be awesome. But yeah, it's all good. It's all good. All right, so we'll catch you guys later.